Hey guys, Lust here, and I don't know if you can see this, but I ended up topping the White Plains New York regionals that I went to today. Honestly, I'm still sort of in shock that I did so well, mainly because I haven't played this game for 2 or 3 weeks leading up to the regionals. One because there just weren't many locals that were had enough players to start, and also because I've been focusing on one of my other card games, Yu-Gi-Oh. So I ended up asking the help of someone I knew was good at the game, BMA, for deck tips, and he ended up guiding me to this dragon deck that I used. I played the deck that he gave me card for card, and I ended up topping with it. My record was 5-0 in Swiss, and I ended up losing in top 8. The decks I played against were round 1, I played against Earthright. Round 2, I played against Ramp Dragon, the mirror match. Round 3, I played against Abyss. Round 4, I played against... No, round 3, I played against Earthright again. Round 4, I played against Abyss. And round 5, I played against Ramp Dragon. And my round 2, 3, 4, and 5 opponents all made top cut in the end. And my round 4 opponent ended up getting first, and my round 2 opponent ended up getting second. Which was very surreal, honestly. I unfortunately couldn't get into top 4, but let's get into the deck profile. This is probably going to be my last set 1 video, and afterwards I'm going to be focusing on set 2. So let's kiss set 1 goodbye with a final dragon deck profile. So starting with the 1-drops, we have 3 copies of Bellringer Angel and 3 copies of Blazing Breath. Going into this format, I saw that Blood or Abyss and Forest had a lot of success, and Earthright is extremely rampant in our area. So I went in preparing for a format with a lot of Abyss and a lot of Earthright and very little Sword. So I text my deck out to try to counter as much aggro as possible. So you'll see that this deck is a lot lower on the curve than the other deck, and I removed a lot of the big stuff. So we have the 6 1-drops. These both help you beat aggro. This is a ward, and Blazing Breath is the best removal card in the game. The best card in the game, Dragon Oracle. 3 copies of Shapeshifting Mage, and 3 copies of Dragon Princess. I used to not like this card, but Bima introduced me to this card, and I read it, and after playing testing it for a while, I understood what the role of the card is. So the card Blazing Breath is a very, very strong card, but the fact it's limited by the fact that you only have 3 copies of it. If you use one in the early game, you'll not have it for the late game, and a lot of the times a lot of crafts are scared of a 1-mana deal 4 that's quick. So a lot of times on your turn, you'll be hesitant to use Blazing Breath to clear a card because you want to save it for later. But Dragon Princess in Overflow is your 4th, 5th, and 6th copies of Blazing Breath, which can help you alongside your other removals to clear big threats that were previously inaccessible, like cards like Fafnir, cards like Dread Dragon, cards like Lucifer, Erasmus, or Alchemist, cards that hit above the 5 damage threshold that you previously had to combo with Blazing Breath. You now had 3 more copies of Blazing Breath. And this card was not only good at that, it's also a 2-mana 2/3, which contested all of Aggro Abyss's 1-drops. So if I went first against Aggro Abyss, I had no problem just slamming this on 2, which meant that their 2/2 on 1 couldn't just freely attack me in the face for many turns without getting punished. Overall, I thought this was a very good card, and this came up almost every single game. The only one game it didn't come up was the game that I lost to Shift in top 8. Moving on to the 3-drops, the best play after you Oracle, and then Serpent's Wrath, the other premium removal spell. This is really good in conjunction with Dragon Princess. It's really good in conjunction with your other removal spells like Dragon Warrior, Blazing Breath, and helps you beat a lot of the early to mid game aggression, and late game it serves as a cantrip to smooth up the deck. And then I played one Path to Purgatory. It was a compromise that I had to make. I cut down on a Path to Purgatory because the card was good, but if I played passively, I shouldn't be running out of cards that often, and I only ever needed a C1 to close out the game. I just needed to have it in my deck, but I didn't necessarily need to see multiples of it, and against aggro, it's not necessarily the best thing. You know, 3 Fortes and 3 Dragon Guards. Fortes, so you can go ahead and race your Forest and Abyss opponents. And even though this card wasn't that good into Earthright, I ended up making the compromise because my other cards were decent into Earthright. So yeah. 3 Shenlong. This card needs to get limited. 2 Wyvern Cavalier. This card had a lot of really good things. Did really good things for me this event. During my first game, Wyvern Cavalier hit Genesis off the top, and that basically changed the flow of the entire game, having to play around a Genesis. Another time it hit Fafnir, even though the Fafnir got Erded away, they still Erded my Wyvern Cavalier, which allowed me to play it again, which hit another Wyvern Cavalier, which hit Oracle, which drew me into another card, so like it gave me a lot of value. I really like the card. Even though this card is not proactive, it's one of the best cards you can play on an empty board, and Dragon can frequently make empty boards. Such as with a card like this. I played it as a one-of because I didn't want to break on this card. This card isn't good in the mirror match, but it's really good against Rune, it's really good against aggro. You want to see it sometimes, you know? And then just like up the amount of board clears in your deck. 2 Lucifers. Lucifer is not that good of a card, but I needed healing. I think having healing is extremely important against Aggro Abyss, or else they just run you over. And this card did come in clutch against the Aggro Abyss deck that I faced today, and it helped me win a lot of games against Earthright, where this card stuck, and they couldn't burn me. 3 Fafnirs. I thought that straight out that Fafnir was just like the card in Dragon that I was the most scared of facing, so why not just bump this up to 3? Many people aren't playing 3, but I felt like I never wanted to see this card in my opponent's hand when I played against Dragon, so why not abuse it the most when I play Dragon, you know? And last but not least, 1 Genesis Dragon. 1 is all you need. You don't need more than that. It's supposed to be a game finisher. And the standard Evo deck, 1 Bowringer, 2 Shapeshifting, 2 Dragon Warrior, 2 Forte, 2 Shenlong, and 1 Lucifer. Some people might ask why I played such a vanilla list, because I was confident in my ability to maneuver my matchups, and I had a lot of experience with them. So all I needed to do was play the best deck in the format and sequence my plays correctly, and hopefully I'll just win through mechanics, just better outskilling my opponents basically. And I think I did just that. There was one game where I think I had an undeserved victory because my opponent blundered twice, but otherwise I think I won pretty convincingly, since I lost almost every dice roll today, and the only dice roll that I won was the one in top 8, which I chose to go second, and then my starting hand wasn't ideal, so I mulliganed, and I ended up mulliganing into 2 Fafnirs and 2 Lucifers, and then my next 2 draws were 2 Shenlongs and a Genesis Dragon. And my first play versus D-Shift, by the way, was Genesis Dragon was Shenlong on 5, which by then they have already like played Solitaire for like 5 turns, so I just ended up getting killed a couple turns later. There was nothing I could have done. But to that I say, sometimes the deck gives you a treat, sometimes, you know, it doesn't. I'm happy with with what I did. I'm not sad that I got unlucky and lost top 8. It's what happens when you play enough. And moving forward, I will be putting out more competitive content for set 2. Watch out for my runecraft, swordcraft, and dragoncraft deck profiles. For now, this is going to be the last video for set 1, and thank you very much for coming along with me in this journey, where we went through the entirety of set 1, Advent of Genesis for Shadowverse Evolve, and I hope we stay together for a couple more sets. Thank you very much, and have a great day.